You're listening to EFT Radio Online, where we explore meridian tapping techniques for self-help and peak performance. By listening to this audio, you agree to the disclaimer located at eftradioonline.com/disclaimer. If you'd like to get the schedule of all the upcoming EFT radio shows and access to archive shows, please visit us at eftradioonline.com, where you can subscribe to our free newsletter.
Are you a fellow peace seeker who is ready to shine? How would it feel to take back your personal power and be calm and centered in any situation? Join empowerment coach Stephanie Farrell for Live Your Best Life, where we'll harness the power of the law of attraction and the art of creating affirmations. Get ready to say yes to your best life.
Welcome, fellow peace seekers. I'm empowerment coach Stephanie Farrell. Thanks for joining me today. I'm really glad you're here because it lets me know that you're serious about creating your best life. So what's your story, Morning Glory? What's your story about why your life isn't the way you want it to be? Maybe you had a painful experience in the past, and since then, every time you remember it, your negative feelings get reinforced. Well, that was then, and this is now. The past is over, but your story lives on. It drags you down, it drains your energy, and it blocks you from moving forward and reaching your goals. In this show, you'll discover how to recognize your story that holds you back, learn how to finally let it go, and move toward the life you want. But letting go of the past means that you've also got to fess up and own up. You've got to take responsibility for your life in order to reach those goals. We'll talk about victim consciousness, how our stories keep us stuck, and then we'll tap on letting go of the past and that victim identity. Later, I'll tell you how to get some support in this area if you need to finally let go, break through those blocks, and create your best life. It's only by releasing our story and taking full responsibility that we can become truly empowered. When we let go of the past, we see that we really do have choices, and that we always do have choices. So the choice is yours. Do you want to stay stuck, or do you want to take back your life, release the past, and move forward into a better future? Take a moment right now and just think about an event in your past that you play over and over again in your mind. Maybe it's something where you feel you were done wrong, or maybe it was just a really painful time. If you're not driving, maybe you can grab a pen and write it down. You can always come back and refer to it later and do some tapping around whatever's coming up for you. Most of the stories that drag us down are negative, and by playing them over and over again in our minds, they drain us of our energy and keep us stuck. These stories could be perceived failures or obstacles, things that got in your way, painful experiences like being taken advantage of or being betrayed by a friend. And today, you might still be holding on to your stories and reliving them subconsciously. Of course, nobody wants to relive a painful experience, but subconsciously, we are. And these stories become part of us. We dwell on them. They create our identity around them. We often use them just to justify why we can't achieve what we want to, or we use them as excuses why we can't have the life we want. In other words, we use our negative stories to not take risks or to play it safe in life. Just telling ourselves over and over that it's not all right to actually go after what we want, that it's not safe. What are some of the ways that it holds you back? Are you ready to let go of the past? You know, I love the way Dr. Wayne Dyer said it. Ego stands for edging God out. And that's exactly what the ego does when we cling to our stories of hardship. Our ego will do anything it can to keep us feeling safe or to guard against the risk of being vulnerable. It wants to protect our stories, to build up our defenses around them and keep them safe because the ego, that's its identity. These defenses are only illusions. Things the ego wants us to believe are true. Well, we can break through those beliefs and tear them down. The more we cling to our stories, the more we're unable to respond to situations in our lives, the more reactive we actually become. Reactions are automatic and conditioned. They're unconscious actions that we take. But responses, they're empowered, they're thoughtful, and they're conscious. There's a huge difference. When we're seeing through the eyes of the ego, we're coming from that place of fear. But when we see through the eyes of the true self, we're responding from a place of love and in a state of total awareness. What do you believe about yourself that gives that story more power? I challenge you, take a really hard look at this and answer honestly. We can't start to heal until we're willing to acknowledge what isn't working for us. If you were free to move forward without your story, what would be possible for you? Think about it. There's a whole big world out there. What really excites you? What sets your hearts on fire? What is something you've always wanted to do but told yourself you couldn't because of your story? Fellow peace seekers, you are not your story. You're a child of God. And what can't you achieve when you realize this? It's so freeing to know that we have a choice. We can choose to let go of the past and step into the light, or allow our stories to keep us stuck in the shadow of darkness. It's scary, yeah, and it can be hard work, but it is worth it. I promise you that. I want to share a quote that really resonates with me, and I hope it resonates with you as well. It takes courage to endure the sharp pains of self-discovery rather than choose to take the dull pain of unconsciousness that would last the rest of our lives. That quote's from A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson.
Are you enjoying the show today? If you are, maybe it's time for you to contact Stephanie. With her experience as an empowerment coach and yoga warrior, Stephanie will help guide you through the process of releasing your blocks, stepping into your power, and living your life with purpose and peace. She'll be there every step of the way, supporting you toward building your best life. Contact Stephanie at stephennie@purpose-power-peace.com or call 416-523-7973.
The next step is to fess up. That's right, take responsibility for your role in how your life has played out. I know it's hard for some people. It's really hard to look deeply into ourselves, but just try to acknowledge that everything that's happened in your life has been for some reason. I know some terrible things happen to people, but if you look hard enough, there's always a reason or some kind of higher learning. It's through our suffering, our dark night of the soul, that we can transform ourselves into a more conscious, spiritually mature, compassionate human being. The victim consciousness comes up in many ways. Just see if any of these strike a chord with you or resonate with you in any way. The victim will have a poor me attitude. Maybe as a victim, you'll feel like you need to be rescued. It's kind of like you're looking for the shepherd, but not allowing yourself to be the shepherd. Often under the victim consciousness, we complain or believe that life is unfair. We blame things on an unjust and vengeful God or some other force outside of ourselves. Feeling like a victim and being resentful, angry, and blaming leads to our energy being stuck. We feel powerless. When we take responsibility and shift from the belief that we are a victim into an empowered, true self, we can embrace a new understanding that we're not our thoughts, emotions, or actions, and we're not our stories. Start to become aware of yourself and how you speak to other people. Notice when you're telling a story in which you're the victim or you're blaming others for your life or circumstances somehow. Fess up, that's right. Really acknowledge your part in every situation and acknowledge that your past has shaped you into who you are today. Start to see the gifts in your past experiences. One great thing to do, I really encourage, is always to spend some time each day in a state of gratitude. You can sit quietly for a few minutes in the morning or maybe before bed and just bring to mind one thing you're grateful for that day. Often, we overlook or take for granted the very things that we most deserve our gratitude. When I was 18, I was in a very serious accident in which I sustained a traumatic brain injury. I had numerous physical problems, including some cervical and thoracic spine injuries. And I laid in the hospital bed for 8 days. I wasn't able to eat. I was always nauseated. I had a headache. I couldn't wash myself. I couldn't get up. When I was told by the doctors that I'd never be able to do certain things again, I really felt robbed of my life. I sank into a deep depression, and finally, after a while, I started to wake up. Yeah, I got out of my funk and I realized that I was so lucky. I was alive. And it's then that I decided not to give up, because I was not a victim, that I wouldn't define or limit myself based on my experience or my injuries. And today I've done so many things I'm so proud of, things that I was told I could never do. All these experiences have enriched my life, and I can't imagine who I would have ended up being if I'd allowed this story to define or allowed my injuries to define my life. Try to look at the good that can come out of a situation or experience. If we change the way we look at things, then those things that we look at, they'll change. It is that simple. By believing we're a victim, we aren't coming from an empowered place. We're pointing the finger at others or blaming past conditions for our present circumstances. By believing we're a victim, we fall into the ego's trap, keeping us stuck and small. When we actually fess up and take responsibility for our lives, we take our power back. We free ourselves to become our best versions of ourselves and create a life of joy, prosperity, and peace. We're going to tap on feeling like a victim and letting go of your story. So if you're driving, please come back to this later on for safety's sake. Otherwise, let's start on the karate chop, or the side of the hand. Even though I realize that I'm playing the victim and blaming others for my lack in life, I choose to love and accept myself no matter what. Even though I've felt like a victim for many years, and I learned this from the story that I held on to, I choose to love and accept all of me anyway. Even though a big part of me plays that victim, I'm attached to this story. I've held on to it for years, but I choose to accept this part of me no matter what. Eyebrow. I've been feeling like a victim and holding on to this story for a long time. Side of the eye. And it's really scary to let it go. Under the eye. Who would I be without it? Under the nose. It's exhausting to feel like a victim. Chin. This story is robbing me of my energy. Collarbone. I'm aware of how I blame others for not achieving my goals and my dreams. Under the arm. This story I cling to makes me tired. Top of the head, and it's really dragging me down. Eyebrow. It's holding me back. Under the eye. Maybe I can let some of it go. Under the nose. No, I can't. Chin. Yes, I can. Collarbone. No, I can't. I can't stop playing the victim. Under the arm. Yes, I can. Top of the head. I want to stop laying blame. Eyebrow. I'm learning how to let go and take responsibility. Side of the eye. And I realize that I do have a choice. Under the eye. I always have a choice. Under the nose. But it's easier for me to blame my story. Chin. I want to let it go. Collarbone. I'm trying to let it go. Under the arm. I will let it go. Top of the head. I'm starting to let it go. Eyebrow. And it feels like a relief. Side of the eye. It feels freeing to let it go. Under the eye. and to know I always have a choice. Under the nose, the choice is mine. Chin, and I choose to love. Collarbone, I choose freedom. Under the arm, I choose to move forward. Top of the head, I choose to create my best life. Good. Now take a moment and place your left hand over your heart center and place your right hand over your left, and just think of 2 things you're grateful for. Just 2 simple things you're grateful for in your life right now. Then feel that joy and that gratitude. Let it fill every cell of your body, and picture it expanding within your heart center. Send that joy, love, and gratitude out into the room and into the city. Send it out as far as you can. That beautiful feeling of peace, joy, love, gratitude. When you're done sending it out, just bring it back slowly, slowly into your heart center. Let it sit behind your heart like a little flame of golden light, always shining, constant, unchanging. This flame is yours to take with you as you make your way throughout the day. Now take 2 deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling. Inhale and exhale. Good. Slowly open up your eyes and come back into the room. You know, letting go brings a lot of fear. I know because I've been there. Just know that it is so possible to do this. If you need some support, don't be shy. Just reach out to me. I'm there to guide you every step of the way. I'm so grateful for you joining me today. And from one fellow peace seeker to another, I say, the highest in me acknowledges and bows to the highest in each and every one of you. Namaste. Hi, this is Coach Stephanie Farrell. I understand what it's like to struggle with fear, anxiety, and frustration. I've fallen on my face more times than you care to count. But what I've learned is this: the only way to change your life is to change how you feel. I totally get how overwhelming it is to take that first step. You don't have to do this alone. Email me at Stephanie, that's STEPHENIE, at purpose-power-peace.com and claim your complimentary Breakthrough to Self-Empowerment session, where we'll create a personalized strategy for living your best life.